11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. We come to you live every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 4 Pacific for about an hour and 90 minutes each day. We do 3 gun-related topics, different topics throughout the week. We run it live on YouTube, and we simulcast it over at gunchannels.com. And we take the audio when it's all over and post it as a podcast on iTunes. We encourage everybody that's listening to the show now or in the future, to leave us some feedback. Leave us a thumbs up on the video or on the podcast or on the article if you read it somewhere, and use the like or subscribe to the channels that we have out there. That allows us to know where people are listening. It also keeps the shows being recommended to more people. We do appreciate that favor. We have 5 hosts, 4 of us, 3 of us are here right now. We got Dano jumping in from Illinois. Thanks for joining.
Yep, glad to be here.
And makes Smeggy over in Michigan. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, how's everyone doing today?
Pretty good. I'm down here in Arizona, and then we got Z jumping in a bit. I don't think Bob will jump in because he's flat broke. He doesn't have the money for the internet, he says. So we won't see him today, but we'll see Z a little bit later. Let's see. Today is episode 280. We'll be talking about free guns for everybody, Obama guns. We'll be talking about the guys that left the big gun companies and started up on their own in the gun business section of the show. And then we usually wrap up the week or talk about gun biz. We also do our daily things that we hit every day. But before we get into all that, we usually take a break at the beginning to see if there's anything happened overnight, anything worth talking about.
Other than you doing like a million shows last night, the AK being one of them, and then was that Judge Your Gun Super Chat or whatever? Yep. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was a success. People had
You're
fun.
The one guy who didn't watch? We knew somebody didn't watch, but yeah, I wasn't sure who it was. But anyway, I figured it was one of the brown shirt people. But it was pretty successful.
Smeggy was one of those guys.
We judged a lot of guns. A lot of feelings got hurt. There's probably some tears, but I think it was pretty neat. We'll probably do another one in the future with rating your EDC carry. That seems to be a popular suggestion for it. And yeah, then we had the big long 4-hour AK chat last night. You guys were both in there, so thanks for joining in that.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem. I gave as much consciousness as I could.
Yeah, well, we had
I had about 20 minutes left of me. I don't know how you did 4 hours. You were like a machine.
Yeah, well, because I care about the audience, and I want to make sure that there's something there for them. But yeah, it was pretty good, and we didn't get copyright flagged, so that's always good.
Woo!
All right, so we are trying to get super chat status over here, so we can charge all the suckers to listen to this show. So remember to jump over and click
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Thanks. And
Subscribe.
Every time you're at somebody else's house, you're at somebody else's house, log onto their YouTube, subscribe to Daily Gun Show.
Yep.
Everybody likes that. Everybody's happy about that.
It's a win-win situation.
I didn't get flagged for telling people to dig into their parents' or their mom's purse and use their credit card, so I figured I could say that kind of stuff on this show too. Hopefully,
Well, what was that payment system? Google something for the kids?
Oh, that Google Play, I think, or Google credit card or something. Like you can just give your kids allowance in Google money, and then Google gives your kids presents. Works out pretty good, I suppose.
Yeah, if you want to be a non-involved parent, I suppose that's one way to go.
Or ultra involved, you can just always be playing video games against your kid all the time. Keep track of where they're at.
Well, then that means you're tracing them.
All right, so yeah, Raf's saying sign up your pets too. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have. My dog has a YouTube account, so sign them up. All right, so anyway, we're just getting around. There was a good chat last night though, and Tack Daddy had his chat. It sounded like he was doing something. I didn't watch it because I was live, but I don't know if anybody watched that one. Otherwise, was there anything else going on in the news?
If there is, I've missed it.
I know there's a lot of lot of attention being paid to the Phoenix Brown shirters or whatever the hell they're calling themselves. So I'm going to be happy when that interest is gone. So they're getting way too much attention for the amount of effort they put into it.
So I still don't have any idea quite exactly what's going on with all that, but that's probably fine.
So let it
15, 20 somethings to get way more attention than they deserve.
Well, then they don't need to get a platform here either. So screw them.
That's why. That's far as I go is 15, 20 somethings. You want to find it? You go on the internet and find it for yourself.
I'll say one thing that I have been seeing some stuff. It seems that the Supreme Court, Gorsuch, right? Is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. And this is mostly liberals crying about it, but there's a couple of Democrats that have already like jumped sides that are saying like, yeah, we vote for them to like confirm them and stuff. So it might be getting close to having enough people to break the filibuster or whatever. So it's possible. What I saw is it's possible by the end of next week he may be confirmed. Now that could be maybe just being optimistic from like a Republican point of view or something, but I think honestly, listening to him talk, he is, he's not a Democrat or a Republican from what I saw. I mean, at least what he says is very much, I follow the law. If it says it, then that's what I do. It doesn't matter if personally I don't like something. If that's what the law is, I'm not allowed to change it. If Congress changes the law, then I'll do something different. Like he's very much just does what he's supposed to from what I see. And again, that could just be his talking points. Maybe he's a jerk, but he seems pretty cool in my opinion.
It's it's difficult to say whether it's a judge or a politician because they say what they need to say to get in office or to get that next position. But he's saying certainly the things that we want to hear. Somebody with no bias one way or the other than what is black letter law, period.
Right. I just like when he shot down, what's her face? I forget even now, whatever. But she was like, well, what about your personal opinion of, DC versus Heller? And he's like, that doesn't matter. I have to follow the law. And what the law says is this.
Exactly.
So
which
that
is
was
what
kind of
every
neat.
judge should not only say, but should do. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way.
But anyway, and like I said, those whatever you call it, like analysts or whatever, they could be wrong. Maybe he won't get a vote or whatever. But I have seen a handful of articles pop up recently on that.
I think it's
more and more people are being optimistic that he will at least get the vote. He might get voted down, but he at least got the vote, not just like get filibustered and then never even vote on it.
So we have a question on the gun channel side from Lazy saying, does anyone use the AR for home defense? A couple people said yes. So then subsequent question was, where do you store it during the night or during the day? In other words, worried about kids in the house. Where would you put an AR that you use for home defense?
If I was worried about kids in the house, I'd maybe like one of those like furniture ones or the things over the fireplace that drop down.
Walls, that's what they're saying in the chat.
Or the wall thing where you slide the mirror over. But I don't know. With me, if I was worried about kids in the house and stuff, then I probably just wouldn't use an AR for self-defense. I would use a pistol. And then I would just leave the AR in the safe.
I think you'd want to use an AR, especially if you had kids, because then you got less issue with sweep. But that's where those little stack-on little lockers, lockable metal cabinets that you can get at a lot of gun shops will have them sometimes. Otherwise, Harbor Freight will have them, I think. Anyway, just the metal with just kind of a cheesy lock, but it's enough to keep kids out of there. And then keep a couple guns in there.
I've seen them at the big box home improvement stores, whether it be Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if they'd have them there. I'm sure that like a big box sporting goods store will have them though. But yeah, I would think that they'd almost be at a home store because people use those for lots of stuff besides guns, I would think. But anyway, those are, and last time I think we bought one was $60. They're not real expensive. Mm-hmm. And just put that inside a closet. Bolted into the wall.
It's what method of securing it, yet remaining some level of ease of access for you or your significant other.
Well, and that's the other thing, if you want, because I know someone who does this actually with their handgun, is that like once they're in the room, like they're in bed for the night, they'll like unlock the thing. So if you had to use it, you could just grab it, and unless your kid's sneaking into your room while you're sleeping, you got to worry about that. But
well, small
if you're
kids
not worried
do
about that,
do
then
it fairly
okay. And then when you
successfully.
get up and go to work, you just lock the thing on your way out.
It really depends on the age of the kids, because you're right. Small kids will come into your room at least once a month, if not more often. They have a bad dream, they wake up early, whatever.
Yeah, it's possible. But I would say the better scenario is then just don't have the kids, and then you can just leave a loaded AR like sitting on your couch or whatever. You don't have to worry about it. That's what I would recommend. Just get rid of the things.
Okay. All right. Any other questions out there at the moment?
No.
Oh man. That one even surprised me.
Unprecedented. Can you unbelievably believe it? This early in the show to have the tactical pop quiz of the day. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it
No
myself.
way to run a podcast. What is this?
Are you saying a
This
pop
is
quiz could pop up at any time during the show?
At any time. So, those of you on YouTube, put your cursor down in the box. You know what to do. Those of you on Gun Channels, put your cursor down in the box. You know what to do. Smeggy, as my YouTube official, have you seen the question? And more importantly, have you seen the answer?
I have seen the answer provided.
And like last time, is it 42?
No, I actually wasn't going to make that joke today. I was going to decide to give it a rest, but that's okay.
All right. I'm going to read the question twice. So here we go. Oh, by the way, I want to thank Mr. Ponery for submitting this question. The Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum was co-developed between Smith & Wesson and who? The Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum was co-developed between Smith & Wesson and who?
Can I guess? Is it Sean Ponery? So I feel like he had a part in that. He has him on speed dial.
Yes, Angry, that means you can participate. But Angry, you got to know the answer.
Colt?
Guesses on the YouTube, but those are incorrect. John Brown and Colt, Dan Wesson are all incorrect.
Gun Channels is just frozen. Nothing.
Not Ruger.
Come on, Gun Channels.
Dan Wesson?
Winner.
Oh.
Night Strike.
What?
With Hornady, which is the correct answer. So congratulations, Night Strike. You are today's Tactical Pop Quiz winner. You know what to do, but just in case, head on over to the dailygunshow.com/pop quiz section, fill out the form, and congratulations, Mr. Night Strike. And once again, the answer to today's question is Hornady. And the question was, the Smith & Wesson 460 Magnum was co-developed between Smith & Wesson and Hornady, which was the answer we were looking for. So thank you.
Do you think he knew the answer, or he just used his hacking skills to hack into our database and learn the answer that way?
I'm seeing an unfamiliar icon in our show notes.
Is it a little Russian guy?
he looks suspiciously familiar.
All right. Well, whether you cheated or not, you cheated better than everyone else. So that makes you Night Strike, today's tactical hot shot of the day.
All right. You know what? And I was thinking about, well, how early do I want to actually go before we have comments? It's like, no, I got at least got to let it get 2 minutes
before we even have viewers. I don't even know if we should continue the show. That's the only reason people show up, I think. So that was the daily show. Thanks everybody for showing up.
Well, if they show up after, they won't know it happened already, so maybe they'll stick around for the whole thing.
Be like, that's the Friday night tactical hop quiz.
Yeah, so we'll see y'all Monday. Y'all have a good weekend.
All right, so I think we were about to talk about free guns for everybody. So we have an alternative gun topic each week, and today it is came in. I forget who. I think this was from the brainstorming session or whatever, a scheduling session that we do on the second Saturday of the month. I don't think it came from an email or from a chat, but I guess I don't remember. Anyway, it says free guns for each American. So is that something that we want to see? And if so, how do we want to see that implemented? We're talking about Obama guns.
Right. Well, I guess before I could go into the question, I personally would want to know, and how are we going to assure that those who have a proven past of being nefarious people are not going to take at least first digs at these free guns?
Are you seeing they'd be the ones to sign up to get them? Because I'm guessing it would go through a 4473 type of thing.
Well, I mean, free kind of assumes that, just like if somebody says free hot chocolate, you don't go out and fill out a form. You go over, you get your hot chocolate, you walk away.
Yeah, but if you get a free
I doubt
boat,
they're going to just be throwing them out on the street.
Driver's license for it, or you got to get a license plate for your boat. If you get a free boat, if you get a free car, you still got to get a license plate for it.
Okay, so I guess just for the purposes of the question, we're going to assume that there's a 4473.
If it's coming from the government, I would assume that they'd put some kind of sticky regulation on there, some kind of slippery slope.
Okay. As long as there's a background check, I'd be fine with it.
Oh, that's very from Dano. As long as there's a background check, he's okay with it.
And I am not okay with that.
Some assurance that felons aren't getting first picks.
Who cares if felons have guns now? No.
Yeah, but they're not first picks.
I don't know how you.
They're going to get all the good ones, and we're going to get the crappy ones.
All of a sudden, felons get the first pick. So I guess Dano's thing is that they're all going to be different guns, and some are going to be better than others. They're not like a uniform Obama gun, like contracted by some company, just make all the guns the same.
Well, if you're going to have a free program, you definitely want to keep the cost under control. So probably they'd all be the same.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're talking like confiscation and then give them back for free.
Yeah,
it's just that's it. That's exactly it. There is a class warfare or whatever. Like there is different people that have tons of guns, and some people don't have any guns. So they're just going to redistribute the guns because it's not fair that you have more than someone else. And we know there's enough guns in this country for everyone in this country. It's just not everyone has one. Some people have a lot, and some people have none.
So what you're saying is it's not fair that I chose not to go on a vacation and use that same money to purchase a firearm. And
that's what you're saying because you are pro this. I am anti it. I do not want wasted government spending. As much as I think everyone should have a gun, because I think that's important for self-defense and just, whatever, good citizenry. I don't want the government taking my tax money and giving stuff to people.
How else can we ever get rid of racism in the gun control war that's been there since the very beginning?
I don't know. Get rid of racism. Get rid of gun control. I mean, that's got nothing to do with giving people guns.
No, but gun control, it started originally as a way to keep guns out of the hands of black people. I.e., right now, the reason why are the fees not lowered zero in many of the states and areas where they need something to defend themselves the most? Why are they so high, making it more difficult? Another speed bump to somebody who's truly poor, who's actually working, trying to do the right thing, from being able to protect themselves. Why do they have to take a $300 class? Why do they have to pay $350 to the state for the fee for the permit?
Well, I'm not arguing that gun control is based on racism at the start. I agree with you on that. I don't know if it is now as much as it is still just a class type thing. They don't want poor people having it. They don't care about the race. Any poor people, the gun control people don't want them having guns. Well, technically, they don't want anyone having guns, but they're starting with that because it's easier to taken away from poor people. But anyways, that's got nothing to do with giving away guns to people. I mean, if you don't like bad gun control laws, get rid of gun control laws. I'm fully behind that. I agree with that. But I still don't want my tax money going to just giving away people free stuff, no matter what it is.
How we were going to pay for it isn't really part of the question, though.
But it's got to be. There's no free lunch. Someone's paying for it.
Okay.
And so if there's any government agency at all that's giving away free stuff, I don't like that. So I am against giving away free guns.
Well, let's see. The question is free guns for each American. So does that require that the government gives them away? What if Bloomberg went, I don't know, fell and knocked his head out, and he decided, oh, I'm the other way now. And then he decided to spend all his millions buying some, I don't know, Ruger Americans for everybody.
Then I would be more behind it, because that's someone choosing to spend their money and like a charity kind of thing. Then I am much more behind the idea. Now, although at the same time, I think a lot of people would be like, oh, great, I have this thing now. And then they wouldn't use it or anything anyways. But if it was like a charity type thing where like they went to low income areas and were like, hey, you can get like a gift card to the gun store or something. Like, here's a couple $100 towards a gun. And then you could bring in your own money and then you'd get what you wanted with just a little bit of subsidy from like a private group. Then I'm much more behind that idea. I think that's a good idea, actually. Because then the people who want one, who just can't afford it, would be able to get one. And the people who don't want one, like, still just wouldn't get one.
What about the M16s and the Berettas and, I don't know, potentially the stuff from Korea that's ours, Lend-Lease? Should that
already
just be
paid for?
Right.
It's not going to cost us anymore just to bring them here.
Well, it's going to cost us something, but...
Well, yeah. But the manufacturing cost has already been resolved.
So what?
That's almost like a hybrid, because it's still a government doing it, but it's not necessarily taking up a bunch of money. Other than they'd probably have to pay people to like organize it and hand them out and all that stuff.
Let me throw out another way on the fiscal side to resolve the issue that you seem to be having, and that is those that want to can simply buy one, or if they choose to, if they receive any sort, and I mean any sort, of government subsidy, to include deducting the interest that you pay on your mortgage on your house, because that is a government subsidy, that you will not deduct the first $500 or whatever that free gun costs to bring to the market. Because a lot of people like to say, "Oh, all those people, on government benefits, they're so bad." Yet they have a mortgage that they receive government benefits from, yet don't openly acknowledge as being on the government payroll.
So now, if you pay a mortgage and you take a tax credit on the amount of interest you pay on that, or the amount of mortgage payment you pay, or the interest, is it on just the interest? I forget. Anyway,
yeah, it's just the interest.
Yep. On the interest, then you're somehow taking a government subsidy?
Well, you deduct it off your taxes. And that is reducing your taxes by your own personal gain is a subsidy.
Damn it.
Oh, by the way, I just want to throw in here, we have a little audience participation here. I got a message here from Marco. It says, listening on my phone. I'm going to edit a certain part of it. Awesome point about black cities having the highest fees. So thanks for the input, Marco.
Will this work if I do it this way?
But either way, and I just want to comment something Moon said. Government gives hundreds of millions of tax dollars subsidy corporations. I agree. I am also against that. So it's like, just because they do something else that I don't agree with doesn't mean that's like, okay, they might as well just give away a bunch of other stuff also. I mean, I'm fairly consistent in I don't think the government should. I don't think they should take as much taxes as they do, and I don't think they should give away as much stuff as they do.
Okay, and I understand that point. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure that why is there an impetus for to be able to exercise that right freely? And I believe that this whole thing rolls back to, although today it's a little bit more diversified into both cultural as well as economic, as well as where you are within the ethnic tree, so to speak, discrimination. It used to be that you had to be a landowner to vote. Now I'm really going far back, and then after that it was landowner plus you had to own your house. If you were a renter, so sad, too bad. I mean, there are all sorts of examples of how they have used gun control against those that had the least amount of power throughout the history of this country. And although now it may be very mixed up with economics and mixing the poor together in one giant bowl, so to speak, but it is still discrimination nonetheless. So how we pay for it is an issue that, yes, I think needs to be addressed for sure. But should there be some way to lower the bar so that more people who need it more have a better chance of getting it? Yes, I would be for that.
So
I'm not sure how it would work out.
Have you guys heard about the free shotguns in Texas for anybody that needed them?
No, I haven't heard about that.
It was a while back. I think it was in 2013.
Yeah, I heard about that one city that was going to require everyone to have some sort of firearm.
That was in a southern state.
Okay.
So in Houston in 2013, a nonprofit is giving away free shotguns to single women and residents in neighborhoods with high crime rates. You guys don't remember that, I guess? So back in 2013, there was a, let's see if I can figure out the name of the place, nonprofit set up to do that.
Like I said, that I am more behind because it's not my money going to it. Although I might donate to something like that because that's kind of a cool idea.
And it says the organization, which I can't skim and find the name of here, it costs the organization about $300 to arm and train an individual, about $20,000 for an entire neighborhood. All costs are paid through donations. Though he declined to say how much his organization has raised so far. So what if there was this concept that you have a First Amendment right and you have a Second Amendment right, and to fulfill that you need the actual item. So people of means would put money together and then let money grow and then use the proceeds from that to purchase firearms and on the cheap and then distribute them. Same way we do Habitat for Humanity. Is that a government leech? Or is that a profit that's self-sufficient that uses efforts and donations to do good work?
No, and you're right, and I'm definitely more inclined to support something like that. So if we're talking that aspect, like I think I had said before, then I would agree with it on principle for the people who want one but maybe can't afford it. But I'm still kind of interested in this idea of for everyone, like.
Well, what's the difference whether the money comes out of your front pocket or your back pocket? You donate it or it comes out of your taxes, because they're going to take it from you whether you or I like it or not.
Choice, but I don't necessarily want to get all bogged down in a tax argument, but there is a difference between forcing someone to pay for something and someone voluntarily paying for it. But what I'm curious about is, what about the people that just don't want a gun?
Well, they don't have to. Just because they're offered a free gun doesn't mean they have to take it.
I don't know. They have a Second Amendment, so they feel like they should have a gun forced upon them then. But let's say that we get past the part, since everybody seems to freak out about the concept of the free guns coming from somewhere. Let's just assume there's a magical gun fairy that sprinkles free guns out there. What would be the free gun to every American? Would it be a pistol? Would it be a semi rifle? Would it be a bolt action? Would it be a shotgun?
My opinion is that if you're taking it to give it to the general populace, you need to come up with the lowest threshold in regards to ease of use and safety. And for that reason only, I would tend to lean but not fall in the direction of a revolver.
Oh, I don't like that idea. I don't want a revolver.
Yeah, I think it should be a menu, and it should be a single action, like a bolt action, single shot 22. Could be like a Beretta 92 or whatever the government's using right now. And then an AR-15 or an M16 really, and then maybe a shotgun. And then that way, if you've got a family, right, they can each have.
But that's a different question. You asked what firearm, singular.
Oh, okay, great. And then I'd change that. I'm saying my answer is a menu. I don't care.
Okay.
Fuck. So I'm saying that way, if you got a family who wants like a dozen Beretta 92s or whatever, that way.
Well, I mean, well, then I'll go. Well, then you should be offered either a semi-auto pistol, a rifle, or a shotgun of your choosing.
And that is why I do kind of like the idea of a voucher of some sort or whatever, like
a voucher. Then
you know you get a certain amount, and then that way also like then anyone could really kind of take advantage of that, whereas if they already have some money, they could just add their own money to whatever they're getting from this nonprofit group and get something a little bit nicer than they could have normally afforded.
I'd like to talk about another voucher system which is currently abused heavily, and that's the food stamp program. Only because I was involved with the homeless for a number of years, and I can tell you that people sell those things for cash so they can do other things with it. So any sort of program like that, I can guarantee you would be abused in one way or to another, because we already have systems like that are.
All right, well then make it some way where you can't. I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I like the idea of someone having the choice of being able to get whichever one they want. And something that I think we haven't brought up just because we probably all kind of agree on this, but I'm sure like an anti would be flipping out right now when they heard this, because they would say, oh my God, guns for everyone. That's horrible. Like, because then, there's bad guys and stuff. And we did kind of touch on that with the background check thing. But I just want to reiterate that I think the vast majority of people are like good guys and would normally choose to do the right thing most of the time. So if literally every single person had a gun, the vast majority of those people would be good guys who do the right thing. So I don't see, anything really bad happening from that. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick, because I guarantee the antis are, because that's the thing, they don't trust their neighbor. So they don't want anyone to have guns because they don't trust anybody.
Right.
Whereas my outlook on life is that most people do the right thing most of the time.
So would you be against a company like a Ruger or a Colt or Smith or whoever, Glock, to like put aside X amount of dollars from each purchase, and then it's the same way that they'll give police departments guns sometimes, they'll just give, I don't know, poor people guns or crime victims guns or something like that?
No, I'm okay with that. I think that's cool. I think the more people that have access to a gun is more potential for, even just politically or whatever, like them being on our side, let alone the fact that it's good for them to be able to protect themselves. Like the people in the middle who just don't really have that opportunity to have experienced guns, once they do, then they appreciate the value, and they appreciate that self-reliance and that freedom and what that means to be able to take care of yourself and not have to rely on someone else for your own safety. And I think that's just a good I don't know what you call it, but that's just it's just a good mentality to have, of that you don't need other people to do stuff for you. You can do it yourself. Even if you do need a little bit of help, a little kickstart to get started. Nothing wrong with needing a little bit of help and then being able to take care of yourself after that.
Now, let me go ahead and throw it just a little twist on the question is, do we want to include any sort of reduced cost? I'm not going to use the word free, but reduced cost optional training, and then reduced cost comes with 50 rounds of ammo, so at least they can fire it a few times.
Sounds like Dano wants to get some kind of a tax break on whatever he spends on training.
Well, actually, I'm thinking of people who might have one and then put it in a drawer, loaded, and then never touch it until 20 years later, or maybe never, and then have no idea how it actually works.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm pro training as well, and actually getting out and using it. In fact, who is that guy? I saw him on, I think it was We Like Shooting a little bit ago or so, one of the podcasts. But he's actually putting together a group, and I wish I could remember the name, and I don't. So I'm sorry, dude. This is a bad plug. But his group is doing just that. They are getting a network of trainers that are willing to have classes where they basically give out free training or reduced cost training to students in need, mixed in with like their other paying customers or whatever. Like they offer something like that for people that want training but can't quite afford it. And it seems like he's doing pretty good work. They're starting to get like a good network together, and they're raising money to like subsidize some of the range fees and different stuff. That's kind of just what you're talking about. And like I said, I'm all for that, for people choosing to help other people. That's great. I donate to charities all the time. So, you know,
Yeah, I'm
people
not
can
talking
help
about
other
a
people, just
requirement.
not by force, is my opinion. But
Exactly. I'm not talking about a requirement. I'm talking about an option.
yeah, I do think that was one of the things I was trying to get at earlier, and my brain wasn't working good. Was that that's the people that would just take the gun and, like you said, put it in the drawer and never use it, but they'll have this mentality like, oh, I'm invincible now, because there are people like that. They call the gun the magic talisman or whatever. Like, there are people who think, well, I have a gun, so I'm invincible. I can do whatever. And unfortunately, if they ever do need to use it, they're going to find out real quick that guns are not magic. And especially if you come up against someone who also knows how to use a gun, and they know how to use it better than you, then you're probably in trouble.
All right, well, so what about the money that is spent on law enforcement? If they took half of that and laid off some cops or quit doing some overhead or some background stuff, and then instead made a bunch of guns available, instead of like a buyback, it's a like give out, right? So then that way, if you were in need, you could just walk up some kind of card or something that would show that you're in need, some kind of government card, and then you would pick up your free gun and go home. Would that not create less crime? And then we wouldn't need the cops that we took the money from. Because now all these home burglaries and stuff, how do you know who's got a gun in their home? Who took advantage of that free gun? You can just go down to the police department and pick up. How do they know there's not a shotgun barrel or a Beretta on the other side of the door?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely, I would agree with the, MASF is what Voomtastic is saying. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys.
What is that? What's massive?
That's what I was talking about, apparently. The training thing or whatever. I don't know what it stands for. I said it already, but I didn't pay attention. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, yeah, no, I agree with you. You're taking that whole stance of more guns, less crime. And I agree with that. People are going to think twice if, is the little old lady really a soft target, or does she have, something on her that is a force multiplier? Or, is this house like oh, it doesn't matter, it's just some kid home or whatever. Oh, well, guess what? He's armed, and now, 3-on-1 doesn't turn out in favor of the bad guy. It turns out in favor of the homeowner. I mean, that's so. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you on that. The whole more gun, less crime. It should at least deter criminals. They'll at least think twice. It's not going to stop the super hardcore ones, but the people that are like maybe kind of thinking about it might get scared off by that.
Over on the gun channel side, Mr. Pawnery made a comment. Basically, government gun equals basically list, and the potential repercussions of that.
It doesn't have to equal list. They could just be like, here's a gun. Like you
well, how would you?
They could just set them out on a table and turn around, and then while somebody come up and go, the table's empty, and then they would know to turn around and fill up the table again and turn around.
Yeah.
I truly doubt that's how they would do it. I'm just saying it's not.
I mean,
if they tasked me with doing
necessity.
What benefit program does the government not have a list on currently as to who receives benefits? None. So why would we think that they'd have a program ever that did not have a list of the recipients who were benefiting? Of course there's going to be a list.
Well, I don't know where we're going to take this one. I feel like we solved it, though. I feel like now we have a real good system in place to get free guns for all Americans. So bravo. Excellent. Thanks to the for helping us solve this one. We'll continue on. We try to use topics that, we're not selling you nothing on this show. We're just talking about guns. So we want to keep the conversation interesting. And on Fridays, we do the alternative gun topic. I think that was a good one. Potentially, I think we could talk about some of the other things again in the future. I'm surprised none of you guys remember the free shotguns to poor people thing that was going on. So maybe that needs to be revisited.
Definitely got a lot more meat on the bone on that topic than I thought we were going to get.
And I feel like we solved a lot of things. So anyway, we're going to dig into the gun biz now. We're going to solve some stuff over there. We're going to talk about companies that had people leave and start their own successful thing on the side or different. And before we dig into that, we like to take a break between the first and second segment of the show each day to feature one of the members over at Gun Channels. Gun Channels is a place we built. It's a community focused on firearms. You can do all kinds of things there. And today it is DF2, or TF2 dot formerly. Big participant in the chat, and been around for a while now. So kind of person we built Gun Channels for, somebody that participates in what we're doing over there and enjoys it, and gives back by commenting and giving feedback and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I always see his name popping up in all the different stuff. So he's definitely around. So yeah, good guy. Good to talk to.
So that'll take us into the gun biz. So we're talking about people that left big gun companies to start their own successful thing. So anybody that's watching, we've got it simulcasting over on Instagram. If people want to put stuff in there, feel free. We're watching the chat there, but otherwise over on Gun Channels and YouTube's. Talking about people that have started off their own successful ventures. So does any of those come to mind? Dan Wesson.
Where did he come from?
Smith's brother. Or Wesson's brother, I guess. Whoever the Smith and Wesson guy is. It's his brother.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that. See, that's the thing. I don't really know enough about like the back workings of gun companies and stuff. I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff. So I don't know if I'll be very much help on this chat. No. But Dan Wesson, I know, is a good, successful company nowadays. So I'd agree with that. They make cool stuff.
Example, and I can't recall his name, but the guy that left, I thought he left Glock, but he may not. He may have left another company and went and formed, I believe it's the Caracal out of United Arab Emirates. It was kept. I don't know. I'm not sure if they're still made, but it was just like 2 or 3 years ago, I think, that gun came out. The Caracal. Any of you guys remember just hearing about it? It was a very low bore access, kind of a Glock type gun.
Yeah, in 2012, we went to the distributor in Arkansas? No, in whatever's between Louisiana and is that Alabama? We went to their the place where they import them to in Alabama.
But that was a guy who had worked. Granted, his name may not have been a name that we all know just from the consumer end, but he was absolutely in the gun industry for many years.
So I always kind of find it interesting with this kind of stuff. That maybe it depends on how high up in the company they get or whatever, but a lot of times you normally have to sign like non-competes and stuff once you start working for a company that like you're not going to just learn how they do it and then go and start your own. So I find it interesting that it does happen because I know like in my industry, that's something like I couldn't start like my own engineering firm and start competing with my employer now. Like they would have ways of coming after me. So it's just kind of weird if it happens in the gun industry, but maybe they don't have that. I don't know.
Well, there's also, you go back in time, they didn't always do things the way they did today, 100 years ago. But another example, and of course, G-Webs is the one that can talk about this the most, was the evolution of the little Saturday Night Special Ring of Fire stuff and the families. It moved from one to another to another. Now, whether it was successful, I'll let other people decide whether that was successful or not. But
I'd say they're successful. They sold millions of guns. But
Yeah.
Went off and made his own company. The daughter went off and made her own company. Brother of the daughter's husband made his own company. The nephew made his own company. And they're, depending on how you want to look at the Bruce side, his wife and his kids.
Right, but I can't think of any other example where you have that many different gun manufacturers that closely related.
Well, let's go to the tiny little revolvers. You get Tsul making the first one, and then dude from Freedom Arms came along, and they worked together. And then when they stopped working together, he kept going with that Freedom Arms.
Mm-hmm.
You got your people from Wilson Combat in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, went across the street and started Nighthawk. Like almost literally across the street. In the safes, you got people from Fort Knox went off and made Liberty, and I think a couple of them went from there to make another one.
I did not know that Liberty was an intellectual offshoot of Fort Knox.
Yeah, I think it's like the son-in-law or the stepkid or something like
that. Now, do you think a lot of those types of things are, I don't know, say like not hurt feelings? Like most of them are just like, oh yeah, rock on, dude, go do your own thing. Or do you think some of them are like, you jerk, you're a direct competitor of me now, like how dare you?
I don't think there's every story separate, right? So some of them are like, yeah, I don't like the way you're running this place. We can do it better. I can do it differently. And some of them are like, I want to do revolvers and you insist on doing rifles, so I'm going to go do my own thing. Sometimes it's like, this is too much. Why don't you go do that and, be successful, or we're holding you back. Go fly. So I think it just depends on, each story is a little different.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just not really familiar with that type of stuff. So it's kind of interesting, but.
Velocity Triggers is a former employee of Timony Triggers.
Yeah. And I have a Velocity Trigger in my AR. Just a side note.
They're saying Barrett with a bunch of question marks. Where did Barrett come from? I didn't know what he was before he was making guns.
I don't know.
And his kids are still with him, I think. They haven't started doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So again, we're not going to be able to solve all of this, but it's another thing to talk about. So if you come up with some, you're shaking your fist at the screen because you're yelling it and we're not hearing it, then send us an email. It's dailygunshow@gmail.com. And we could talk about this one again. I'm sure we try to talk about the gun industry every Friday anyway. And like I say, we don't have time or resources to do a bunch of research for the show. We really just throw topics out there and we riff on them. So if you'd like to contribute to that or participate in the show, send us an email. Leave us some comments if you're watching the video on YouTube, or if you're over there on the iTunes. Leave us a comment there, or send us an email. I'm going to suggest we got Bob in here now. I don't know if his mic's working, but he's at the biggest gun show in the world in Tulsa. Since we're going to be talking about, well, we usually talk about events on Thursdays. Are you there, Bob?
Yep.
Well, thanks for that review of the show.
Yep, I'm here.
Just a minute to rest. Wow, come on.
Now, normally on Fridays,
I mean,
it's just vendors.
hey, I'm in the RV park that's right in the fairgrounds, but I mean, the show hasn't started, so I haven't seen any of it yet. But
You haven't snuck over there or nothing?
no, I just literally got the trailer unhooked. So I'm just kind of sitting for a minute and then realized, oh, yeah, the show's on. So I got
So you
hooked
got
up
free,
and got
you got free Wi-Fi from the park there?
Yeah, the guy was saying, "Oh, I don't know if it'll work. We're all the way over where you are, but I guess that booster I've got made a big difference because it's
Good. Yeah, you're sounding good.
So, Bob, are you parked at the convention center now?
It's a fairgrounds.
I'm literally I can walk to the show.
Okay.
Well, I think we counted our chickens before they hatched on the good Wi-Fi, but it's good to know that you're right there on the grounds, and
Yep.
it'll be fun to go to the show and everything.
Well, Bob, can you tell, are you parked on the lower level or the upper level? Or
I would say I'm kind of parked on the lower.
You're opposite of the big statue?
I'm kind of behind the buildings.
okay.
That's what I figured. When we walked some shit out to people before, their campers were out there on the north side, I think, of the lot.
Yep. I'm nice and close to the hurricane shelter or the tornado shelter though, because that was one of the things they mentioned is when the sirens go off, run to the building with the flags.
Yeah. Being Oklahoma,
Tornadoes.
you need to
Apparently
know
they
that.
have tornadoes here.
We got them all over the Midwest, Bob.
Yeah, and this is like a whole bunch of tin tubes, so that's where tornadoes like to head for.
Are you going to be wearing anything specifically tomorrow, Bob? People are asking so they can identify you.
I don't know.
Like you have a gun channels hat
Are
on?
you going to wear a shirt?
Yeah. Just look for the guy without a shirt on. Yeah. No, I'll have a shirt on. It's not that warm here. I don't have a gun channel shirt.
Do you have a gun channels hat? Or every second matters hat?
Well, I'm going to wear my hat with the podcast, the Daily Gun Show
Okay.
logo on it. Fun. And
So if anybody wants to,
VZ58. I'll be wearing a VZ58 t-shirt.
and a ball cap with the Daily Gun Show logo on it.
You bet.
Well, I would say if you don't know what Bob looks like, then you must not be a big enough fan to want to meet him. I mean, come on. He's shown himself on camera before. It's pretty distinctive.
Old guys walking around a gun show.
I don't have the full beard anymore. I only got a goatee because it's bloody hot in Tucson.
He's a hipster.
Well, the other thing is, although Bob may be clearly identifiable, there's tens of thousands of people that you're walking amongst.
Right.
I don't know. Just yell out high power and see who comes running.
I'm up.
I'm kind of vertically challenged, so I'll kind of blend in with the crowd, eh?
I'd say if you're at the show and you want to fight Bob, just start walking around yelling free high powers, and he'll be the one knocking people over to get to you. But do that at your own risk in case he actually starts demanding a high power and you don't have one to give him.
And Bob, I'm sure you know, but for anyone listening who might be going, if you want to buy something there, it's pretty much cash and carry, no credit cards. Although they do have an ATM machine at the entrance.
All right, so we got everybody joining us now. So welcome, Z.
Aloha. Yeah, Z, you would love this place.
We were talking about.
Take a picture.
Yeah.
Everybody's here at once.
Break the camera. So then we were talking at first about free guns for everybody in the United States. I don't know if you guys wanted to throw in on that one, or we were talking about people that left big companies. Yeah, people that left big gun companies to put together their own successful businesses.
Personally, I don't happen to know anybody that did that, but I'd be more than happy to hear about it. And does everybody deserve or get a free gun? No. No offense.
Oh, snap. All right. We assume Bob is down for that because he's socialist. I'm from Canada. So
that's probably the main reason I say no right there. I mean, unless we're going to call it a birthright. And literally the day you are born as an American, you get one bequeathed to you as an American. Now that I'm down with.
That's what most of the rest of the world thinks, isn't it?
So Z wants
well, I gave up caring what the rest of the world thinks a long time ago. So
Z wants birth guns.
Yep.
Instead of a social security card, you get a gun, and whatever the serial number is on there.
That's your number. There you go, G.
All right. So I think at this point, we're going to dig into the next segment of the show. So before we do that, I'm going to take a minute to talk about a new piece of gun channels over there. So one of the things we've had is the trading post for a while. We upgraded that, souped it up, and it's now a 24-hour gun show. So I think I'm screen sharing and locking on my screen. If you get into gun channels and you click on little 24-hour gun show logos, wherever they might be, I removed that Instagram stuff down here because it wasn't working anymore, and replaced it with some rotating stuff that's over in the gun show. So anyway, you click on that, and you've got an upgraded, like updated type of place to buy, sell, and trade. So anybody who's a member of gun channels can put stuff in there. If you're one of the supporting members of gun channels, in other words, you're paying $12 or more a year for to help keep the place online, you'll be able to put in even more items. So I encourage people to check it out. It's a place to start to post some stuff, and we're going to sprinkle the items around the site a little bit, and we'll be talking about them here on the Daily Show. Hoping some of the other people who do live stuff over on gun channels will let people know about some of the new items as they get added, so that we can make it as effective as possible. So people that are selling some stuff can make a couple extra bucks, and people that are looking for bargains have plenty of things to search through. So I encourage you to check it out. Just click on either community in the menu on any page of gun channels in this 24-hour gun show, or any of the banners, and that'll take you to the place.
It's awesome.
Now, actually, I'm thinking I'm going to put a chat room over there too, so that if people want to just talk about gear or whatever, they'll have a place to do it. All right, so we'll talk about those on Fridays when we do the weekly wrap-up, and we talk about deals of the week and that kind of thing as well. So again, you can get as much coverage as you can on a community like this. It's not like putting it down on a forum where you have to depend on somebody searching for it. Hopefully there'll be enough people chatting about it and talking about these things that get a little bit more coverage than you might someplace else. All right, so that'll take us into, want to do the movie of the day? Since everybody's here, I don't know how long Dano's going to be around. We try to mention a movie each day, something gun-related, possibly, usually. Something you might not have seen in a while, or if you're one of the youngins watching, something you ain't seen yet. And today the movie is Canadian Bacon. Canadian Bacon.
No, it's not.
It is. Look on
Is
there.
it?
Yeah. It's kind of a gun movie. There's some bullets and guns in it. So
Is that even a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie.
Come on, you haven't seen Canadian Bacon for real? It's John
No, I
Candy.
haven't.
It's a John Candy movie. It's a comedy. I think he died in the middle of it, and they filmed it anyway.
They finished it. It was just it was after he did Going East, which was a similar style movie, I believe.
I mean, it was a comedy, but the comedy slapstick, right? Wasn't it more like they started to get more drama here?
Yeah, man.
It was pretty slapstick, though. So anyway, it's about the invading us, I think.
I think it was actually. I think I only ever saw it once. I don't know that I ever saw it again after, and so I hardly remember it at all. And yeah, the one I was thinking of was Wagons East. You're right.
The summary on IMDb is the U.S. president, low in opinion polls, gets talked into raising his popularity by trying to start a Cold War against Canada. I guess it's directed by Michael Moore. I didn't know that.
Was it really?
Oh, that guy's a dick.
But yeah, written and directed by him.
Well, then guess what just happened to both of my thumbs?
Yeah. It was an okay movie.
But the movie was good.
Now that I think about it, I don't like the movie anymore.
Oh, I like John Candy as an actor. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I really do. Uncle Buck. I mean, whatever. Planes, Trains, Automobiles. Brewster's Millions. Like, I enjoyed John Candy's acting abilities and all that stuff, but
It says the budget was $11 million and it's gross. Any guesses?
6.
It budgeted $11 million. I'll say that $6 million is nowhere close. Brought in, it says, gross USA $178,000.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That did not bring in a lot of money. Well, it's probably because of Michael Moore being a giant douchebag asshole.
I'm gonna have to agree probably with you on that.
Is it a different Michael Moore?
Well, nice. And then all of a sudden, you got guys over on the YouTube side saying,
It's the same jerk ass Michael Moore.
well, and it's like he's anti-gun movie. And so I guess I don't really remember it. I must have not paid attention to when it was on because it does it try and paint us in a poor light because we're the ones that had the impetus to try and start a Cold War with Canada. You know what I mean? I mean, Bob, what are your Canadian spies going to be bribed with? Maple syrup? Poutine? I mean,
No, actually, I think they're bribed with American dollars because they're worth so much more.
well, then, hey, there you go. There you go.
That way when you go to, Hawaii for your vacation, you got money to spend.
Yeah, then there's that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, believe me,
Well,
I know all about the exchange.
I think we all learned something today that just because John Candy's in the movie doesn't make it a good movie.
Now, if you would have chose Wagons East, I would have gave it 2 thumbs up.
Though, I mean, I just saw the movie recently. I can't remember what it was on TV or something, and I just started watching it. And if you look away from the fact that they do try, paint the American gun fetish in a bad light, which I don't think there's anything wrong with a gun fetish. It's a funny movie. It's got some really funny bits, like the Canadian Mounties just about made me piss myself. So,
Bob, you can give it 2 thumbs up. You can give it 2 hardcore Canadian thumbs up. It's okay.
No, I'm not going to give it a hardcore Canadian thumbs up. I'm going to give it 1 thumbs up because John Candy's in it and it made me laugh. But, it was definitely a movie that had its own agenda.
I think I'm going to give it a thumb, not necessarily a thumb up, but 1 in recognition of John Candy being so good. But yeah, now that Michael Moore did it, I don't know if I like that movie so much.
I'm inclined to agree with that line of thought. Like,
Here's the thing,
I'll give it a thumb.
We recommend these so people go listen or go watch the movie, right? Well, I don't really want people to go watch Michael Moore movies. That's giving them that jerk money. So, yeah, watch it like get the DVD from like a pawn shop for $1 so that he doesn't get any cut of it.
Dude, what was the one where he was the sort of spy almost himself? Was it Who's Harry Crumb? or something like that. Or what was the one where he's like the private eye as
Oh, yeah.
well? That was another one.
That was pretty good.
Dude, that when he jumps on that stationary bike, like
So I just watched the trailer for Canadian Bacon off of IMDb, and I don't know, it looks kind of funny, like a John Candy movie, but
No, it's not his best John Candy movie. It's definitely no Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's not a John
that's
Candy.
not a pillow.
It's got John Candy in it, and that's why it was okay. But it was super boring. And then at the end, there's like a little bit of like action, I guess. It's like they tried to be Stripes, but it's failed.
Oh, but there's a movie John Candy was in. You're a lean, mean fighting machine. Ox.
but
Yeah.
anyway, so I'm not giving it any thumbs because I haven't seen it, and like I said, the trailer makes it look okay, but now you guys are all saying nah, it sucks, and I agree, Michael Moore is horrible. So
Well, you know what, Smeggy, though, if it's a snowy or a rainy Saturday afternoon, you got nothing else to do, and it comes on TV, watch it. It is got its funny bits.
Every time Bob says funny bits, I think that it's dirty. Is that just me or
I think it's just you.
okay? I don't know.
so I just thought of an idea for good idea, bad idea, and that's invading Canada. I just got the idea from this movie trailer.
Oh hell yeah! Hey, you know what? I'm actually all for it at this point. You know, especially if they're going after Trudeau first.
I think that just happened.
Are
Did
we
anybody
having,
catch that?
are we having
I
a
think it
pop
was an
ambush?
ambush.
Are we having an ambush right in the middle of the show?
That's the way. No one ever suspects an ambush. That's why it's called an ambush.
This unprecedented.
No,
So-
not really.
No, we had it once before with Z.
Yeah.
So it's precedented. This is precedented, everybody.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like an extra pop quiz. It's happening right
it
now.
is.
Your
Yep.
keyboard warmed up. Smeggy and Bob, have you read the answer? More importantly, the question. And here we go.
I haven't seen nothing.
Yeah, I hadn't either, but I'm ready to look for the answer, I guess.
Well, it's all on you. You said sure, so that means you're hosting this. Here we go. We're having a tactical pop
Yeah,
quiz.
it's Z's problem.
Go. And Z, go.
Oh, I got to come up with a question?
Yeah, what the hell? That's what I said. You want to do an ambush. Meaning, you got a question.
You made it seem like you had a question in mind, smart guy. Okay. What is the preferred weapon of your enemy that makes a distinct sound when fired up at you?
Holy crap. And they have moments to answer this because everybody's going to know this one. So you just heard the answer, or I mean the question. Give them that question one more time real quick. It's not coexist.
Well, we already got a winner. Well, sort of got a winner. Okay, so we're going to have an off because we got Diecaster and we got Raphael literally typing the correct answer at the same time.
Yeah, I like his first attempt of I think I got 47. Like he just like
So-
hit the laptop trying to type AK-47.
Mash
What?
the
Okay,
laptop
so
key.
this is a ambush answer off between Raphael on Gun Channels and Diecaster on YouTube.
So
This
just
question
those,
is for
just those
just
two, right?
just those two. In the movie Full Metal Jacket, what is the handle of Matthew Modine? I'll give you the first word. The first word is private. Just in case you didn't know. Bing, bang, and boom. Diecaster, private joker. I don't know if Raphael walked away from his computer or what, because he still hadn't answered it, but that's okay. Yes, it would go to Diecaster. Diecaster is the winner of the Answer Ambush. Congratulations.
All right, Diecaster.
Not such a big payoff, but keeps the show going. So thanks everybody for watching. That's the whole point of doing these, is to say thanks to the people that watch us live. So that was on the YouTube side, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
good to see something going out to the YouTube side every once in a while, so that we don't get accused of rigging it.
Hey,
Right, and it's not rigged, truly.
Speaking of prizes, I'll tell you what. Anybody who spots me at the gun show and comes up and says hi, I'll give them a loony.
Oh no, no sexual favors promised on this.
No, a loony. It's a Canadian dollar. It's worth all of it.
Bob's too cheap to give him a toonie. Toonies look way cooler than loonies.
I'll give him a loony.
Now that's funny, Schmeggy, that you said a toonie.
He actually knew what a toonie was. That's the funnier part.
Dude, I'm 20 minutes from the border. You think I don't
I
go
was
to
gonna say he's right.
once in a while?
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, that's true. He's
I
probably.
get that shit in my change from places around here.
What Artisan Tony just said, I assume that's when a Canadian licks you in the ear when you're not expecting it.
Well, I think all Canadians are a little loony, so that's probably where they named it.
No, we named it a loony because it's got a loon on it.
All right, well, Bob is going to give somebody a coin from Canada, Canadian money, if they see him at the gun show. So, yeah, I mean, there'll be
some fake Monopoly money.
I forget how many attendees they, but it has to be.
Don't turn around and try and spend it at the gun show. Just a little word to the wise, okay?
We'll just look at you funny.
All right, so that was that. So now that was that one. I'll put a line through it, and then we get to gun of the day. We'll flip over to the Vidya screen here, and let's see. Oh, we kind of talked about this, I think, in the Hangout yesterday, but we're going to be talking about taking apart the Underfolder stock. So this week for gun of the day, we've been looking at some AK-related stuff, and this is a video I posted. It's one of the first videos ever, February 3, 2009. So I posted this video 8 years ago. And it was, let me turn off that music. It's basically taken apart the Underfolder stock using video editing technology of the time. And it's really complicated. You can see there's a pin inside of a slot type of a thing. And it's just this weird complicated puzzle of cylinders and pins and springs. And it's just a lot of different holes and slots and places where you can get the pins to fall through when everything's lined up, and then you kind of rotate everything and it can get to the second pin, and it's pretty crazy. So I know there was lots of walkthroughs at the time, and I put this video together to show people, I guess, just the actual process of the walkthroughs. So anyway, definitely not the best video equipment back then, but again, this was quite a bit of work to get all this up onto the internet. It's kind of neat, and I guess must have been exciting because I kept doing it for another 8 years.
Well, that's something I know you've said in the past, that when you first started doing YouTube, you would do it because maybe a friend had a question or whatever, and it was easier just to film a video and show them than to like talk on the phone or type in a forum or whatever.
Exactly.
So was this one inspired by something specific, or just you thought it was a good subject?
Oh no, I'm sure this was exactly that. Like, we would be talking about it on the forum, and you try to describe to people all these different things. So this was just to give it, that extra perspective and show some of the process. Because you tried to describe or whatever, it's different than just showing you jamming a pig in there.
I thought part of the answer was because there was no video and nobody helping was part of the reason.
Right, yeah, there was no video back then. This was 2009. There was little internet clips. This was a lot of kicked in your balls type of stuff, or football hitting you in the balls, but people didn't have high speed yet. Well, they kind of had it, but it wasn't as distributed as it is now. So they were still in the growth portion of high speed, I think.
It was a go figure it out moment.
Yeah. So anyway, this is the Underfolder stock. It's a Soviet-style stock. It's the most complicated, probably, of all the AK stocks to deal with. It's probably the most complicated thing on any Kalashnikov, just because it's a weird puzzle and it's hard to describe it, to the process. I'm sure by now there's lots of interesting animations and stuff that can, show things with what do they call that, like invisible views.
When we were talking about it before, I didn't comprehend before then how complicated of a machine that little button is and how it all works. Like,
Yeah.
I would have literally just thought, oh, it's got a catch, it's got a lock wheel, and like a spring. Boom, you're done. Not even close to how complicated. It's another machine inside the machine.
Yeah, it's like a little puzzle, and it's just I don't know. That's all the parts right there. So like 12, not even 12 parts, and the way that they go together is crazy complicated. But I'm sure it's because of the German influence. Germans are just insanely complicated for no reason.
It's just funny that the rest of the AK, like, take a barrel. Here's one big piece of metal. Like, it hits the other thing, and you're done. Like, that's it. And then the button for the underfolder has as much parts as the bolt and the piston and all the other stuff all added together.
Kind of is, yeah. And I'm sure that's why they went away from it. Plus, it's not the greatest stock in the world. It's nice for when it folds up, but nobody likes it for shooting off of, really. And it's not necessarily all that strong. It's just, it aids in distance shooting. I think I might be trying to narrate it too a little bit, but yeah, definitely weird. And again, I guess another example of 8-year-old video efforting.
You can watch that on AK47videos.com.
So would you say, though, that the VZ58 folding stock was a much more perfected design?
No.
I'm gonna go around saying that.
Why would I talk like that?
Well, I'm
No,
just
it
saying,
definitely was simpler, though. Definitely simpler.
Well,
Just a hint. All right, well, that was our gun of the day. If you have an idea for a gun of the day, let us know. Otherwise, we get together with our patrons, and which are the people that support the show financially. Thank you to them. And we get together with those people on the second Saturday of the month each month and schedule out the show. So if you'd like to offer some suggestions for gun of the day, then feel free to either email us, dailygunshow@gmail.com, or check us out over on that Patreon system. Let's see.
If anybody ever shows me how to access that, I will actually go and look and do research on it that day.
On what?
On the gun of the day.
Oh.
Because, me, I generally do gun of the day. If I'm picking them, I pick them that morning and do the research that day.
Do we have any gun history? I feel like there was some gun history. Well, we do have a sad note. It was the anniversary of Brandon Lee's passing.
That sucks.
Yeah.
And what was it, folks?
Carelessness.
CIA.
Well, now, granted, both of those points are arguable, and they both could be correct. But wasn't it from a squib?
It was a squib, but it also
Kinda.
had a fake projectile in the chamber.
Yep.
Is what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, they used dummy rounds in one scene to get a close up of the gun, so you can see the barrel or you can see the bullets in the cylinder, and then one of those bullets fell out of the case that nobody noticed, or maybe it got in the barrel or something. They don't really know exactly.
Right.
And then in the next scene, they put blanks in, and the blanks had enough power to push that projectile out the barrel and hit him.
And penetrate.
Yeah. And at first, everyone thought that it was just like, he fell down or whatever, just like he was supposed to, like he was acting.
Like, wow,
And then
he's a hell of an actor.
Yeah, after
Oh,
they yelled cut, they realized that he wasn't getting up.
Well, and plus, it was out of a 44 Magnum or something, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
firearm or in the movie or whatever.
Yes. So a pretty heavy blank, I imagine.
Yeah, truly sad.
And then just the other day, I noticed I follow the Bruce Lee account on Instagram, which is run by his daughter. One of his
Shannon.
students passed away just the other day. It might have been yesterday or the day before. So, and he was one of the trained by him and kept the thing going and stuff. So, kind of bad news for their family.
No kidding.
All right, well, so that I think is going to wrap up episode 280, unless we want to, I guess we could wrap up the week a little bit. We do the show every single weekday at 7 p.m. Eastern. This week, if I scroll through the past shows here, we get to Monday. This week, we featured people from gun channels that were, I think, just hanging out on the main text chat whenever I was coming up with items that week. So there's no real order to them, or other than everybody was just active in the chat that day. We had Yoder, Texas on Monday, Grandman on Tuesday, Psycho Camp on Wednesday, and Sean Ponnery yesterday. Monday, though, we talked about how to use the internet on the road. Thanks, Bob, for being in to tell us all about using internet on the road. Then we talked about gun tech and various alternative metals used in guns. On Tuesday, we had our Second Amendment subject, and we talked about how the states rank. So we ranked all the states a couple of different ways as far as their gun laws.
Who was number one? Do we remember?
Arizona. Good idea, bad idea. Ball ammo for carry. That was an interesting one, I think. And then we talked about Vermont. For the CCW subject on Wednesday, we talked about the guns that we carry and the holsters that we use and how we carry, like on the body, what positions or what style of carry. Just kind of went through, talked about our personal preferences and some of the audience's things. Then our good idea, bad idea this week was MacGyver versus James Bond. And that was an interesting one as well.
Nobody got hurt.
Yeah, no feelings were hurt that day. Then we had our tactical quiz on Wednesday. That was a good one, I think, with Dano speaking, doing some song lyrics. Then let's see. Yesterday we did gun cleaning, and we talked about our cleaning routines and stuff that we use. And then we talked about sighting in pistols and rifles. And then, of course, every Thursday we talk about shooting events. And that was this week. Next week we'll be digging into episode 281. Looks like we're going to be talking about guns in the homes, using lights on, or having lights fixed on guns. We're going to do a top 10 gun wish list. We're going to be talking about CCW at the state level, aiming devices. We'll be talking about Mossad Ayub, aim surplus, and traveling with guns. I guess this is a rehash of the traveling with guns for alternative travel routes like bicycles, motorcycles, or probably hiking, non-vehicle type of travel. So we should have a fun week. If anybody wants to participate in the show, we have the comments over on the Gun Channel side all the time live during the show. Of course, over on YouTube always. So we do appreciate everybody that joins the show. We've been seeing a larger number of live viewers, and we do appreciate that. So we can't guarantee we're going to do double tactical quiz like we did today, but we'll continue to come up with new inventive ways to play with our audience and have fun with the interactive nature of the way we do the show.
Speaking of which, gee, let's go over to Instagram for a second and see if anybody out there has been using the hashtag Daily Gun Show this week.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying. I may have seen somebody post something with the hashtag Daily Gun Show.
Well, I've been using it more. I don't know if the people have been taking our cue. Dairy
Queen? I'll take a banana split, please.
Really? Daily Gun. Yeah, if you give me a show.
I'm sorry.
We have 102 posts. I think we had 88 last time, right?
All right.
We got a bunch of people who are sharing it. So we got Chris sharing it. Is that Smeggy? Smeggy's sharing it.
Yeah. Smeggy was the one I knew for sure. I like
Yeah,
that
that
high
was
standard
the
patch.
gun range when I met up with yesterday Pomade.
So we got a bunch of Chris's. He always does great pictures with like and one in the foreground.
I really like that high standard patch, G.
That one is over at Raphael's house. We got that one at a gun show. I think I might have got
That's cool.
Yeah, to show Bob's out last year.
Oh, no kidding. At the Tulsa Gun Show? At the Wanamaker?
No, I don't remember. I don't know this. This Emilio.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So right on.
Das Mulio, yeah.
And this was Matt.
Matt. Yep.
It's Chris again. Bama. They got a decommissioned Marine gun. They stamp out the USMC.
Oh, that's right. And those just came up on Gunbroker, what, like in the past few weeks ish?
And we can see a lot of people hashtagging their patches that they're getting from the Daily Gun Show, or I mean the pop quizzes or the tactical quiz. So thanks for doing that. Keeps everybody aware of what we're doing out there. There was only 2 of these ones made. I made this one. It looked a little squished, so I made a bigger one and sent it to Brandon. And that's the only 2 that exist of that one. So score on that one. I don't think I'm going to sit there watching that thing sew out ever again. Took forever. I don't really do these because we'll get sued or something. So only a couple of those got made. Then we have our friend Jason who sent us a couple extra of these "Don't Tread on Me's," or I mean, sorry, Mount Treadmore is what he calls it. And Raphael got one of those. Let's see, this is Meggy posting this one, right? With his blue chair there.
That's a good looking dog.
Got this dog on the head right there. Oh, this is 2017. We don't even know who that is.
It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma.
It's an awesome person, though, whoever they are. If they're listening, you're an awesome
Yes,
person.
thanks for all they do.
The one from Bama. Looking at how this gun, I think he's saying how this gun was here 1 minute and then like ended 317, and then boom, right away, here it is on 325, going for like $200 more.
Holy what?
Yeah.
Are there any bids on it, or is that just somebody trying to?
Starting bid, oh wait, current bid, yeah, 3,500. So although it hasn't meet the minimum, but it's only $25 away from the minimum, its current is at 3,500. So that means somebody's willing to pay 3,500, where whatever 8 days earlier, somebody was going to pay, or somebody did pay 1,300.
Yeah.
Do you think that person bought it for the 1,300 and then is now selling it for the 3,500?
Oh yes.
Wear marks on that gun. It looks like the same gun. It's a different picture, but it's the same gun, right?
I think so.
So,
And you know, whatever the market will bear, right, gentlemen? I mean, if somebody's willing to pay that much, honestly, I think that's capitalism, right?
yeah.
You know, they got a good deal on it. They knew what they were looking at.
I know Tony
Yeah.
wouldn't. He wouldn't. He'd like to see the government restrict this kind of thing happening. We're gonna say it's okay. It's okay for them. I don't know what this one is. What's this one? Bama again.
Nice. That's funny.
It's probably 2017. Much words all the time.
Yep, 2017 out there.
All right. Well, I don't know where we're doing it. The old ones, probably mine again. So you're looking at old ones there. But thanks everybody for using the hashtag. We're up to 100, right? It's 102 posts with the daily show, with the Daily Gun Show as a hashtag. Have you guys seen what Marco's been able to do though? If you type in gun channels, right? How do you get into there? If you type in gun, what he's doing, and then a space. No. Oh, he does gun C. Yeah, that's what he was doing. So if you type in, you know, as you're typing in a hashtag, so you type in gun and the letter C, it's going to start to recommend things that you think it thinks you mean. So we don't mean gunk, we don't mean gunsel or whatever, but it's going to say, do you mean gun control? Because we could spell out gun control there, and you notice how many posts that has? 254,000 posts for the word gun control. Think about how many people might use the word gun control, either positive or negative, right? But let's look what's next. 237,000 for freaking gun channels. Still on time?
That is cool.
20,000 away. 20,000 away from bypassing freaking gun control, and that's basically his efforts online, just kicking the shit out of Instagram. So if you think you know Instagram, you need to talk to Marco and just sit down at his feet and let him talk for a bit, and you'll learn some better Instagram. This is phenomenal. I think that's really cool. This is, I mean, it's neat that it's gun channels, but the fact that, and I know he didn't do it intentionally, but I know that once he saw that was a thing, he started to pursue it. So he's done this with some intent. But you know, by his efforts getting people to use the Gun Channels hashtag, which gives them nothing more than a repost on an excellent channel, or what do you call it, you know, page over there. But with Marco, you know, cheerleading everybody and getting them to do it, enough people are doing it that we're literally going to bypass freaking gun control. Fucking Bloomberg paid a lot of money for people to get out there and use that shit. And there's a bunch of people who think they're doing it with intent, but you know, a lot of determined effort. And Marco's freaking matched that just single-handedly. I mean, obviously he's done it with the help of a billion people, but he's able to rally the troops to do that single-handedly. Freaking incredible.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It truly is.
And that's something that'll last forever, because no matter what, somebody goes in there and type this in, they potentially are gonna go, what is this? And are they gonna get any gun control shit? You get all kinds of good stuff. So thanks everybody who's out there using the hashtag Gun Channels. Now it'd be great if a portion of y'all jumped over onto Gun Channels and checked it out. We'll take 7,844 of you. The other 230,000 can go below, but this 7,844, come on over. You're welcome.
What?
For sure.
I'm just saying, we can assume most of those people are jerks, and then about 7,000 of them are cool people. We want them over.
That's assuming an awful lot, man.
All right, well, I think that's, you know, thanks for mentioning that, Ozzy. We should be doing that on Fridays as part of our weekly wrap-up, eh?
That's what I was thinking. That's why I kind of remembered it, and I know that I had seen over Instagram over the week that I did see a few hashtag Daily Gun shows, and you know that was one thing that we were trying to ramp up a little bit. Same with over on YouTube, trying to get some more subscribers for the channel. So it's one of those things that we just gotta occasionally remind our audience, like, share, and subscribe, you know, all that good stuff.
Now, how's this for interesting? So we were simulcasting over on Instagram. It took me it just ended right now, but it took me 2 like bursts or whatever. It can only do a while, I guess. So what have we been on for an hour and a half? So it must be like 40-something minute, 30-minute burst, and then it cuts off, and then I hit it again. That second one, when it ended, said we had 245 viewers. So
no kidding.
I don't think that was 245 concurrent sitting there watching it on the edge of their seat, you know, telling their friends about it. But 234 people came by and said, "What's this gun website's guy doing online?" So yeah, it's interesting how much reach Instagram can get. So while it's true that there's not exactly a revenue source like YouTube, where you can just put content up, sit back and relax and watch the money flow in, it's definitely got some reach. And again, I think Marco is doing excellent work there by getting something up there that can compete with such a generic word like gun control and have such a relevant word like gun control. It's freaking remarkable. So awesome. And imagine we all know the guy who does that. So, you know, we all know Marco. If there's something important, he can throw that out there. And when it comes time for us to have a fight, we know we'll have a fight again like we had in 2013. That's an ally we've got now. That's a guy who's building the shit. So anyway, we should feature him on one of the segments of the show, because that's exactly what we built Gun Channels for. People that want to do their thing on their off time, and every once in a while somebody's going to just be freaking stellar at it, just do a good job at it. Marco's a good example of that, and he's not putting in that much effort. He's having a lot of fun with it, and I know he's he's enjoying the ride. So hopefully take that as some inspiration. If you thought about doing something, I mean, Marco didn't sit down and go to school on how to do Instagram. He just started playing with it. He enjoyed it. He pursued it, and then he saw a way that he could add to the community with it, and he's kicking ass with it. So thanks, Marco. And again, hopefully somebody will get inspired by that and continue to do or start to do or continue to do whatever it is you're doing. If it's a podcast, you're not sure if you should waste the time, or if it's a series on YouTube and who's watching it, don't care. Keep going. You never know when something goes viral. All it takes is one little viral video. All it took is Hickok shooting a freaking pumpkin once. He was a little channel. I was bigger than Hickok for a long time. He shot a pumpkin. He was on TV. He went national, and the rest is history. He's the largest freaking gun channel out there. So it happens when it's a good guy, right? Like Marco or like Hickok or like Tim. Well, Tim didn't I don't think he really skyrocketed off anything except effort, but never know when something's going to just catch, and you'll be able to ride it for a bit. And anyway, you never know until you get something out there. Gotta have hooks in the water. All right, well, anyway, that's the end of 280. I don't know how many that is. If we do some kind of math, I'm sure we could figure out how many weeks that is already. what do you take? 280 divided by 5?
Yep.
And that gives you how many weeks? I don't think there's any way to do that in the amount of time we have left, but
Really? Really? There's not enough time to know that it's 56.
so it's 56 weeks we've been doing this, and I don't think there's any way to be able to do the complicated math equations to figure out how many months that is, but at 13
Yeah, 13
more
months.
than a year. And we're having fun with it. Again, we appreciate the people that are participating on the Patreon, which is how we're paying the bills. Now, if you think we're paying a lot of bills, crazy. It's bringing in like, what, $26 or something? But we do appreciate the people that are doing it. It's paying for the podcasting. We do like to get the reach out there on the iTunes. If for no reason, then it's nice to have another pro gun thing out there that ain't trying to sell you something. But it would be fun to do this as more than just a hobby. Bob's over there, like, not getting to Tulsa a day ahead of time so you could see the museum because you ran out of gas. I'm sitting here not in Tulsa because I'm poor. So I'm not trying to get rich off the show, but it would be nice to have some resources to devote to this. We don't even have like a couple of dimes to rub together to do like little intros and stuff. So anybody that thinks this is cool, we appreciate you recommending it to others. And then we definitely would appreciate it if you check out that Patreon and consider how much you spend on your other entertainment. And then think about how much entertainment you might get out of something that happens like this for an hour or 90 minutes every single weekday. And contribute accordingly. Till then, I guess we'll see you next week with 281. What you guys have?
No, I think that's it. So somebody put a quote up for me. That was kind of nice of them. I was busy driving. So I guess we'll end it with that. Before we do, I want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and say, please like, subscribe, and share. This one is by A.E. Van Voigt from the novel The Weapon Shop of Istar. Okay, I probably didn't say that right. But anyway, the right to buy weapons is the right to be free. And it's a very true statement. I'd like to say thanks, guys. We'll see you all Monday.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching gunwebsites.com.